one of your previous videos, I left a text comment about kind of agreeing with you about how um, we can learn things without that kind of comfort of believing them or understanding them. That kind of feeling that, okay, well, I get this. Um, and I used our relationship with solid objects as an example because I think it's probably one of the things that is most closely involved in the way we think in everyday lives, in our everyday lives, in grouping things and, okay, well, this is this and that is that, and whatever. Um, Pretty much in the sense that we've been going through in my past complementary physics class a lot of these things that are these knowledges that are counterintuitive, and that we have to think in ways that we understand them in our own terms in order to get them, like talking about multiple dimensions, using using like paper metaphors and like folding paper metaphors, and sorry. Seems to be a fire. A lot of forest fires surrounding actually Quebec right now. All around the world, I think I've been hearing there's a lot of forest fires. In any case, um, so yeah, we have to think about these things in ways that is intuitive to us, because, like I said, our I think that our brain is constructed to pretty much think in on terms that are most efficient to the immediate means of survival of the individual that has that brain, like a fly. I think I read somewhere in an article about like psychology or the brain or whatever, that a fly's brain will think in terms that is most close to the lifestyle of the fly, while a human brain will think on terms closest to the lifestyle of the human being. So during the evolution of our brain, we've come to think of things as, solids. I mean, like we're pretty much, like, our species is pretty much made from the fact that we can use such complicated tools. And so, like, I would guess that it matches very greatly with us identifying objects and, solid objects that are separate from each other that can mix and match and whatever. Like, when I like do this and I like touch the table like this, the way it's instinctual for me to think of it is that my hand, the skin of my hand, is rubbing against the surface of the table, because I certainly feel my hand being affected by the table, being pulled back and forth. And I think of these as solid objects having a surface, and that's how we think. But that's not how things are. We've learned that the table exerts, the particles of the table exerts a certain force, that the particles on my hand will repel from. So when I go like this, I'm not actually touching the table. I'm merely being repelled from it, the same way that I'm using a metaphor again of something that we better understand, that the negative side of a magnet will repel the negative side of another magnet. So it's really just a repulsion. When I'm sitting on a chair, everything, all the cells in my body are pulled together and at the same time are not directly touching because of another force that's keeping them from not directly touching. So in another way, that we learned in our physics class, matter, our particles, are merely just highly aren't actually it's really just highly concentrated energy that gives this kind of presence of a particle, if I understand it correctly. And if we were to reform our way of thinking, if we were to appeal to if we were to have some comfort of, oh yeah, I understand this, and incorporate that into our thinking process, we'd have to radically change the way we think about things. And that's why I think that we have these metaphors. It's pretty much to keep in store the comfortable way that we've organized our thinking processes. We have these metaphors so that we say, okay, well, I'm going to take this piece of knowledge which I don't completely, intricately involve myself in an understanding sort of way, and I'm going to put it on this shelf of things that I understand in different ways than they actually are, just so that I don't have to complicate everything. I think metaphors is kind of like a shortcut to understanding something. You're pretty much associating it with something you already understand, and that's kind of like it, but not at all like the thing that you've just discovered. And that's how we deal with it. Because if we were to change the way we think of solid objects, of things being individual rather than forces constantly repelling and whatever, whenever you sit down on a chair and you don't think of yourself actually sitting down in a chair, it would be way too complicated to actually to start to interact with the world, constantly having to no longer identify things as being individual, like solid objects. So I guess that's all I wanted to say. I'm not sure. I'll make another video if something else comes up.